As a man, you are not built to beg. You evolved as a hunter. Culture may have polished you with rules, manners, and nice guy advice, but deep down you are still driven by something older, primal, instinctive, untamed. And if you want real success with women, you must stop fighting that truth and start embodying it. Power is never granted, it is taken. Attraction works the same way. Women do not give themselves to the man who waits for permission. They surrender to the man who hunts with intent, who moves with calm dominance, who shows desire without need, who makes her step into his world instead of begging to enter hers. In this video, you will understand the hidden psychology of pursuit, why logic always fails, why emotion always wins, and how to awaken the hunter inside you. Watch until the end, because once you start hunting the right way, your love life will become simpler, clearer, and finally under your control. You will stop chasing women, and they will start chasing you. This is why chasing with logic is a dead end. Machiavelli would have reminded you that rulers who buy loyalty with gold are never secure. The same is true in seduction. If you try to purchase her attention, you are not powerful. You are replaceable. A real hunter never buys his place in a woman's life. He earns it by who he is. His calm, his presence, and his decisiveness are enough to trigger her instincts. He does not flood her with proofs of his worth. He lets his very frame make her feel something she cannot resist. So the next time you are tempted to impress her with what you own or what you've achieved, remember this truth. She is not moved by your resume. She is moved by the way you hold yourself. Stop talking like a salesman desperate for a client, and start moving like a man who already knows his value. That shift alone is the first step from being ignored to being pursued. Here's the first move. If you want to become a hunter, women can't resist. Stop believing that logic or material gifts will ever win her desire. Most men fall into this trap. They think if they provide enough money, enough comfort, or enough status, then she will finally choose them. On the surface, it looks safe. But what you create is not attraction, it is calculation. When she follows you for what you can give, she is not chasing you. She is chasing the benefits attached to you. And calculation has no loyalty. The moment a better deal appears, she will walk away without looking back. Here's the second move. If you want to become a true hunter, stop chasing her logic and start igniting her emotions. Most men don't realize there are two kinds of pursuit. One is logical, built on money, comfort, or status. And as you've seen, it always crumbles. The other is emotional, and this is the one that makes her restless at night, replaying your presence without knowing why. Logical pursuit can be explained, emotional pursuit cannot. And when something cannot be explained, it becomes irresistible. Think about it. A woman might say she wants a stable man, a kind man, a safe man. But then she gives her attention to the man who disrupts her rhythm, the man who leaves her guessing, the man who makes her heart race. Why? Because her subconscious is not looking for safety. It's scanning for emotional intensity. Desire never comes from comfort. It comes from tension, unpredictability, and the sense that she might win or lose something rare. Here is the key you must never forget. Women don't chase what they fully understand. They chase what makes them feel unsettled, alive, and slightly off balance. When you master the rhythm of giving and withdrawing, when you know how to time your presence so it feels like a rare gift, she won't even notice when the roles reverse. She will be the one looking for you, not the other way around. Here's the third move if you want to become a hunter women respect. Stop asking for permission like a chaser and start leading like a man. The chaser is always on his knees. He texts constantly, asks when she's free, waits for her to set the rules, and bends his life around her schedule. Every word he speaks screams the same message. You are the prize, I am the follower. And the more he chases, the less she values him, because a man who begs for attention is never attractive. The hunter, on the other hand, does the opposite. He makes his intention clear without apology, but he frames it from power. He doesn't ask, "When can I see you?" He says, "Clear one night this week. I'll take you somewhere worth your time." The difference is subtle, but her body feels it instantly. One tone is needy, the other is decisive. One tone lowers your value, the other elevates it. This is the shift most men never make. They confuse dominance with aggression, but real dominance is calm. It is the confidence of a man who already knows he has options, who already knows his worth, and who moves as if she can either join his world or watch him walk away. That energy makes her lean in, because her instincts crave a man who leads. Here is the lesson to burn into your mind. A chaser places her on the throne and kneels before her. A hunter stays on his throne and allows her the chance to step into his kingdom. And that difference in frame decides everything. When you speak to a woman, stop talking like someone asking for approval. Speak like a man who has already decided what he wants, and let her adapt to your direction. The hunter shows desire, but never as a beggar. He shows it as a man who chooses. And when you move like that, she begins to feel something deeper than interest. She begins to feel respect. Here's the fourth move if you want to master the hunt. Treat your presence like rare gold, not like cheap metal handed out for free. Most men make themselves available at every second. They text all day, answer instantly, cancel plans just to see her, and they think this will prove their interest. But it only proves one thing: they have no self-control. Nothing valuable is ever that easy to get. If you are always there, you become background noise. If you are predictable, you become forgettable. The hunter understands scarcity. He knows that what is rare is desired. He gives his attention in measured doses, not as endless supply. He makes his presence a luxury, not a routine. And the effect is immediate. Instead of taking him for granted, she begins to crave his return. She replays the last moment together. She waits for the next one. She imagines what it will feel like again. Scarcity turns ordinary interactions into obsession. And here lies the paradox most men never understand. When you give less, you are worth more. When you space out your presence, every word you speak gains weight. When you step back at the right moment, she doesn't forget you. She obsesses over you. Think of it like fire. A constant flame becomes ordinary, but a spark in the dark captures every eye because it is rare. That is how your presence must feel. When you appear, she feels your energy. When you withdraw, she feels your absence. And the space you create pulls her forward. This doesn't mean ignoring her to play games. It means living your life as if you are the center of your own kingdom, and letting her experience that you are not always available. When she realizes she cannot predict your every move, when she feels that your attention is limited, her instincts switch. She stops asking if you are interested. She starts working to keep your interest. Here's the fifth move if you want to make women chase you without even realizing why. You must create emotional addiction. Most men think attraction is built through logic. They talk about their job, their hobbies, their plans. But logic does not light her up. Emotion does. A woman does not remember your resume. She remembers how you made her heart race, how her breathing shifted, how she felt alive in your presence. If you can control that feeling, you control her. The hunter understands this better than anyone. He knows that the female mind craves tension, surprise, and contrast. One moment he makes her laugh with something sharp and unexpected, and the next he goes silent, letting her imagination do the work. One moment his eyes are steady on hers, and the next he looks away, forcing her to wonder what is running through his mind. These emotional shifts act like hooks buried in her instincts. each one tying her deeper into his presence. Imagine this. You're on a date. Instead of asking dull questions about her job, you lean in and ask, "What's the wildest thing you've ever done that you still think about at night?" Suddenly, she is not giving you a rehearsed answer. She is reliving a memory. She is feeling that adrenaline again, and she's feeling it while looking at you. That connection burns into her nervous system. You didn't just talk. You gave her a chemical reaction she cannot forget. This is what most men miss. Addiction is not created by constant attention. It is created by spikes of intensity. Like a gambler hooked on the roll of the dice, she doesn't know what she'll get next with you. And that unpredictability is what keeps her coming back. If she can predict your every move, she gets bored. If she can't, she is hooked. The key is to stay in control. Do not flood her with too much. Do not over-explain. Hold your center. Let her imagination do the chasing. Because once her emotions are tied to you, once her body starts craving your presence, her mind will fight to justify it. And she will convince herself that it's love. Here's the sixth move if you want her to chase you instead of testing you. You must become the man who sets the rhythm she cannot escape. Most men move to her beat. They wait for her messages. They follow her moods. They adjust their lives around her timing. Every action they take says the same thing. She leads, I follow. And nothing kills desire faster than a man who dances to her rhythm instead of making her move to his. The hunter flips this dynamic. He creates a rhythm so strong, so steady, that she falls into it without realizing. When he speaks, he doesn't rush. When he texts, it is not out of panic, but with purpose. When he plans, he sets the scene, leaving her only to step into the world he has already chosen. She feels his gravity pulling her closer, because his rhythm feels safer, stronger, and more alive than her own. Imagine this. You tell her, Friday night, there's a place I want you to see. Wear something that makes you feel incredible. You are not asking permission. You are not pleading for her time. You are setting a rhythm. She can follow or she can walk away, but most women will follow, because your certainty is more attractive than her uncertainty. This rhythm also shows in how you handle setbacks. She cancels? You don't negotiate. You don't offer 3 other days. You simply say, all right, another time. You return to your life, unshaken. And the silence that follows weighs on her more than any argument could. She feels the beat of your rhythm even when you are not there, and she wants back in. The practical truth is simple. You must live like a man whose life already has a pulse worth joining. Your work, your goals, your discipline, your lifestyle, they create a rhythm. When she steps into it, she feels carried by something bigger. When you let her set the beat, she feels restless and bored. The hunter never chases because he doesn't need to. He builds the rhythm, and she either keeps up or gets left behind. And once a woman feels that pulse, the calm certainty of a man who moves to his own music, she doesn't want it to stop. She will align her steps to yours, because deep down, she craves to be led. Here's the final move if you want to be remembered as the man she cannot forget. You must leave at the peak. Most men overstay. They stretch the date. They keep talking. They linger until the energy collapses. What started as fire fades into smoke, and she walks away feeling nothing special. The hunter does the opposite. He knows the art of walking away when the tension is highest, when her emotions are burning brightest, when she is leaning in and doesn't want him to leave. Imagine this. The conversation is flowing. The eye contact is electric. Her body language is wide open. That is the exact moment you stand, calmly, with a subtle smile and say, I should go. But this was one of the best moments I've had in a long time. You don't explain. You don't beg for another meeting. You leave her suspended in the high point of desire. And because the brain hates unfinished endings, She will replay that moment again and again. The more she replays it, the more she craves you. This is not running away. It is power. By leaving at the peak, you freeze the memory at its most intense point. She doesn't remember the conversation fading. She remembers the storm still raging in her chest. She lies awake thinking about you. She waits for your return, not because you begged, but because you left her hungry. The key is discipline. You must resist the temptation to take more. You must be willing to step away at the height of the connection. That single choice transforms you from a man she met into a man she cannot get out of her system. And this is the mark of the true hunter. He does not chase. He does not cling. He strikes, he imprints, and he disappears, knowing she will come back to finish the story he left open. If you've reached this point, you've already absorbed the mindset of the top 1% in seduction. The man who hunts with intent, never begs, never waits. You've now seen the truth that most men never learn. Women don't fall for the man who waits. They don't surrender to the man who begs. They give themselves to the man who hunts with purpose, who knows when to advance, when to hold, and when to walk away. From the first gaze that unsettles her instincts, to the silence that makes her lean in, to the controlled distance that sharpens her desire, every move you make must remind her of one thing. You are not the prey. You are the hunter. This is not about cruelty. It's not about games. It's about stepping into your role as a man who decides, who leads, who shapes the frame. The man who doesn't scatter his attention, but gives it like fire, rare, precise, unforgettable. Understand this. When you master these moves, you'll stop being one of the countless men chasing shadows. You'll become the gravity she orbits, the storm she cannot escape, the story she keeps replaying long after you've left the room. So from this moment on, stop living like a follower. Stop handing away your power. Every interaction is a hunt, and every hunt is decided by the man who controls himself first. And if you walk this path, you'll never beg for love again, because she will give herself to you without even knowing why. If this opened your eyes and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man, Built to be Chosen. It's a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep your thoughts in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember these lessons, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.